After years of watching anime, you start to realize anime comes in all sorts of different genres and styles, each with different outlooks on what should be done to make it great. Not that it takes years to learn that, but one thing that every anime has without fail is dialogue. I mean, how else would I get my daily dose of pointless villain monologues that completely ruins any chance they have at succeeding?
The world は最強のスタンドだ。時間を止めずともスピードとパワーとてお前のスタープラチナより上なのだ。俺のスタープラチナと同じタイプのスタンドだな。遠距離へはいけないがパワーと精密な動きができる。
On occasion, there are anime that like to use as little words as possible to convey their message, while most of the time anime find that spamming the dialogue button like they're trying to meet a word count works best. And on a rare occasion, you find the anime that balances both styles. We're lucky to have so much diversity across all these different shows. But recently, one anime has repeatedly shown me some of the most insane masteries of wordless dialogue. That anime is Mushoku Tensei. And before you get on your moral high horse, just hear me out. Regardless of whether you like the show or not, you really gotta hand it to the studio. When they want to, they can really blow you away with almost any aspect of the production there is. In Season 1, the visuals, settings, and software was the thing that made everybody froth at the mouth. But something that I keep finding overlooked was the dialogue. I've talked about it before this, but I feel like I didn't do it justice. Major spoilers for Season 2 Part 2. Season 2 Part 2, Episode 11 is titled Parents. Was released on Father's Day and killed a scumbag human named Paul Greyrat. At the end of the day, that's what he was. He was a lecherous man, seemed to have questionable history, and drowned himself in alcohol. Not necessarily the picture-perfect person, and yet was simultaneously a great father in his own way, to both his daughters and his scumbag son. He argued with Rudius, bickered like a child, acted immature, and was by no means a great role model, but also a great one at the same time. On multiple occasions, he was the reason Rudius was able to take a step back and look objectively at himself. Back at Wingport, it was his priorities and what really got Rudius to finally understand the weight of his actions. And now recently, he was able to finally confront his past and accept the fact that what he did to his parents was terrible. It's all thanks to a scumbag named Paul that he was finally able to realize his immaturity. And as much as I want to talk about the characters, this video isn't about Paul. We're here because the anime studio was cooking with episode 10 and 11. They came out with a Michelin star meal and I'm all ready for it. The way they adapted Paul's effect on Rudius was nothing short of perfect. People always take words at face value. A lot of times the meanings behind the words are lost, misconstrued, manipulated. So why use words at all? Like the saying goes, a picture paints 1,000 words. But at the same time, I'm not here to look at a slideshow of images. I watch anime because I want to enjoy a show, and the emotions it brings out of me. I want to feel those heavy moments where the VA goes crazy and leaves you speechless. Scenes like that is what solidifies these anime in our hearts, carving their own eternal spot in them. Which is why Mushoku Tensei always blows me away with the little things. Back with Nanohoshi, it was that raw scream paired with that perfectly matched expression. With Eris, she gets that devious grin while having fun, and with Rudius, you get anguish, absolute despair. But Mushoku Tensei knows not to just spam over-the-top performances. I personally think that's the biggest reason why every time it hits, you feel so connected. In those 2 episodes where he's going through the episode of depression, grieving over his losses and his uselessness, nothing is said. So many details, so many scenes, and so many ideas were completely left out of the anime. And yet, it's perfect. Everything is conveyed through visuals and the sounds. Without using any words, they told a story. Rudius mentally broke from Paul's death but managed to hold it together solely because his goal of saving his mother was completed. At least Paul didn't die for nothing, right? Wrong. Because when he realizes the condition his mother's in, you see the most vivid depiction of horror. He loses it. He completely locks himself in his room, starves, repeatedly losing himself in what ifs. None of this is communicated through words, but rather through animation, through sound, through voice acting. One of the Mushoku Tensei anime adaptation's strongest selling points is its mastery of everything it does. People were worried when they saw the original talents would be stepping down from the main production, but even without their A-team, they proved they can still make a damn good show. It shows a genuine love for the series that most shows could never dream of. This is how anime is meant to be adapted. I mean, hell, even I can move around a couple of limbs and flap some mouths. Doesn't mean I can make a good anime. Just watch.
ようこそ私のソウルソサエティへ
Anime needs love, care, attention, creativity. I mean, just think of some other great anime that have been coming out recently. JJK took scenes like the Choso fight and put them on Molly. Dungeon Meshi brought the creatures to life. Demon Slayer, beyond just making a good-ass explosion, blew some life into the breathing styles. Get it? Breathing styles, blue. No? Don't like that one? I'll see myself out. Point is, an adaptation of something isn't meant to be a one-to-one copy. There's a creative aspect to it that's meant to be explored. If anime wanted to copy other anime, every isekai would repeat the same redundant trope until people started beating the shit out of their computers with a bat. Oh wait. Even manga can stand to learn from Mushoku Tensei. Manga that adapt light novels have to bring the world to life, but their freedom is so expansive. The Mushoku Tensei manga takes full liberty of this. It takes scenes that make me do a quick heh to a full-blown The manga does a funny, exaggerated adaptation of the light novel, and the anime takes a creatively unique route. It shows how much difference a different adaptation can make for the viewing experience. If you can put aside the actual content of Mushoku Tensei and look at it objectively, I feel like you would notice there's doing a lot of things right. For example, the whole ED arc was boring to some people, but I feel like it didn't raise as much of a shitstorm as Tensura did recently because it wasn't as drawn out and had points where it did feel more engaging. While in Tensura, as much as I love the series, that season did objectively do a mid-job of adapting the meetings and details, such that it wasn't entertaining to everyone. And like I said earlier, I feel like Mushoku Tensei's anime has a good hold of when and where to take it slow and when they shape you to your core. Take Akame ga Kill for example. Akame ga Kill was an anime that every edgy high schooler would go around praising for being so dark, but once you're past your emo phase, most people just kind of realize all they did was just go around killing people off to try to capitalize off the shock factor. It starts to lose any meaning. It starts to feel pointless and ends up being unmemorable. In comparison, great anime like AOT skillfully manipulate you into thinking one thing just to flip it on its head. And no matter how many twists or turns come up, you still don't feel exasperated. It still feels fresh. Because so much care was put into making sure it doesn't feel repetitive. And maybe this is my bias speaking, but I feel like Mushoku Tensei is somewhere closer along the line to AOT than a lot of other anime. It consistently uses different methods to keep things fresh and leave you still feeling emotionally affected. Even though a lot of the anime loops and themes and has a lot, and I mean a lot of downright weird moments, it's something I hope more anime can learn to incorporate into their adaptation, especially with a series that has such a large following. So many of them always seem to cop out, like God of High School for example, where they just spammed animation hoping people wouldn't notice the atrocity that was the pacing. Well, that's my 2 cents anyways. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, peace.